Hello, everyone, and welcome. If you are just joining our webinar, we will get started in just about a minute. All right, well, welcome everyone. I think we will go ahead and get started. My name is Tara Jackson. I'm president of Arizona Town Hall, and I am stepping in, it appears, thanks to maybe some technical difficulties for Elizabeth McNamee, who may be joining us at any time. Elizabeth McNamee helped start our community town hall effort. And I'll say that in my 16 years at Arizona Town Hall, the community town halls and the future leader town halls have really been some of the most inspiring, impactful programs that I've been a part of this entire time. Elizabeth has been a key leader in that, so I do hope that she's able to join us at some point. It's also her birthday, so even if she can't join us, please send her some virtual birthday wishes. So our community town halls are an effort that we started to really reach out to and bring town halls to people wherever they are throughout the state, whether that is a geographical location or a different voice or perspective. And it has really allowed us to get this incredibly rich source of not only voices and perspectives that inform the statewide town hall, but also to immediately start action and community strengthening within communities, even before we ever get to what is now simply a capstone event, our statewide town hall, which starts this Monday. The community town halls we've had throughout these last almost 2 years have been inspiring and informative all throughout the state of Arizona. We are really lucky to have with us today some representatives of some of the different communities who both held and participated in the community town halls to share their thoughts on these different events. I first want to, because I'm stepping in for Elizabeth, I want to make sure that I am covering everything she was going to cover. So I think at this point, what I'll mention is just a few statistics from the community town halls on our topic, creating vibrant communities. We had over 1,900 people specifically engage in discussions on this topic from diverse places around the state. We had over 42 events just on this topic within the last 18 months, not to mention other events that related to this topic that helped inform some of the incredible recommendations that we have published on our website and that are in the chat room, but also the individual action steps that so many people promise to take and have already been creating impact in their communities. So I certainly encourage you to visit those resources if you're interested. And now I would like to introduce the person who is stepping into the shoes of Elizabeth McNamee to take over our community town hall effort, Alexandra Zavala, who has been wonderful, bringing in some new energy and new ideas for us today. She will be also introducing our panel and leading the discussion. So Alex, the Zoom floor is all yours.
Thank you, Tara. And I have to say that those are some pretty big shoes to fill. There's a lot of pressure here. Elizabeth is amazing, but I'm honored to be a part of this effort and do my small part to continue it forward. This is very exciting, and I love the work the Town Hall does across Arizona and empowering communities to really identify the issues that affect them and problem solve solutions together. So thank you so much. So as Tara mentioned, I'll be stepping into Elizabeth's previous role, and really my goal is to help bring more connection throughout Arizona, help identify new communities who maybe we haven't reached before, and hopefully host town halls there and help them get to what some of our other communities have experienced. And you'll hear some more from our panelists from their experience with town hall. So excited to be here and excited to bring my employer, Molina Complete Care of Arizona, as part of these efforts as well. we are very committed to helping the community, and this is right in line with our goals. With that, I'd also like to thank APS, who's a fantastic partner and sponsor of the Arizona Town Hall and our program today here, as well as to thank all the people and organizations who provided partnership, support, and scholarships throughout the years for Arizona Town Hall. So with that, I'd like to introduce Janet Dean, Community Affairs Manager for the Northeastern Arizona Division of APS. Janet?
Thanks, Alex. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's a sincere honor to welcome all of you to this Arizona Town Hall pre-session this morning on behalf of APS. We're very proud to have supported the incredibly important work of Arizona Town Hall for many years. It just takes a quick look at past town hall topics to see the impact that these efforts have on our state. From the future of our water supply to thriving children and families, from governance to our position as a border state, Arizona Town Hall brings Arizona residents together, and they've been doing it for more than 40 years to seek out productive solutions. Their efforts help us find common cause and cement, promote, and celebrate our communities. At APS, we believe that strong communities are a critical building block of a bright future for Arizona. Our commitment to our state goes far beyond the energy grid and actually very deep into the communities we serve. From grants to help teachers with classroom supplies, to our employees volunteering their time and talents in the communities we all love, the very places that we live, work, and play. All this work that we do has our customers at the center of it. Our customers count on us to deliver clean, reliable, and affordable energy to power homes and businesses. And we're committed to making sure that we're delivering an industry-leading customer experience. And that includes reliability you can count on and options that make it easier for our customers to do business with us. That's one of the places we're really focused on. We also partner with our customers, shareholders, and suppliers to support economic growth and prosperity in Arizona. And I think we all know that Arizona is booming. And we're very happy to be part of that. Another key thing for us is building a better tomorrow means focusing on the right things today. That's why we committed 2 years ago and came out and talked about our clean energy future for Arizona, with a goal of achieving a resource mix that's 65% clean energy by 2030 and providing 100% clean carbon-free electricity to by 2050. As an APS employee who works directly with communities across Northeastern Arizona, I am especially excited about this topic, creating vibrant communities. It ties directly to the commitment APS has to our communities, but for me personally, it ties directly to the work I do each and every day. As we've said, and it can't be said too many times, vibrant communities are important throughout the state. But in my little corner of Arizona, we've got some challenges coming as our state and our country transitions away from coal. Communities in Northeastern Arizona are coming together to really envision what their future looks like away from the coal economy. I just had the honor to join Joseph City residents envisioning sessions, and I'm really looking forward to digging in with their various work groups. That's the level of commitment that APS has for its communities. It's why I'm so excited to be part of this Arizona Town Hall session. And for those of you who don't know where Joseph City is, it's a little unincorporated community between Winslow and Holbrook, and it's home to our Cholla power plant, which will cease operations by 2025. We've got some big challenges, but coming together the way Arizona Town Hall brings our residents and communities together to discuss solutions is the future. So in closing, I just want to say APS is committed to making every day brighter. And thank you for Arizona Town Hall and all of your partnership and inviting us to be part of this event.
Oh, thank you, Janet, for being here, and thanks APS for your support. We really couldn't do it without you. And I would be remiss if I also didn't mention and thank APS for the many community leaders that they helped to foster, including our current board chair, Evelyn Kasuga, who retired from APS. So thank you. So next, I'd like to briefly introduce you to our amazing panelists today. You can see their full biographies on the website. So I'll do a brief intro, and then we'll kind of run robin in and have them introduce themselves and give you a little bit more information about their participation with the town halls. But really our goal here today is to allow for participation from different communities town halls to connect and share ideas, action items, and inspiration with you. So first we have Gail, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Is it Digate? Please correct me when you introduce yourself. President, Leadership, Learning Systems, Inc. in Verde Valley, sorry. We have Shelley, Mellon, President and CEO of RL Jones Insurance and Motor Vehicle Services. She's been involved with multiple UMA events with Southwestern Arizona Town Hall. We have Sheehy, Mayor of Lake Havasu City, and also involved in the hotel industry there. And Barbara Mason, Vice President, Home and Community-Based Services, Sun Health, with multiple locations and multiple events with Sun Health in the West Valley. So with that, I'll turn it over to you all one by one. If we start with Gail. If you wouldn't mind introducing, oh, sorry. Yeah, as you introduce yourself, my apologies. If you wouldn't mind also sharing a little bit about which town halls you participated in, you or your organization, and what were the most important outcomes of your community town halls?
Okay, great. You were close. It's Digoti, Gail Digoti. And I live in Sedona, as I mentioned earlier. I'm part of the Verde Valley effort for community town halls. And I'm with Leadership Learning Systems, which is a consultancy that specializes in leadership development, training, and coaching. So Arizona Town Halls was just a perfect alignment with my mission as a professional and my passion for my community. I got a call last summer saying, hey, you indicated on a feedback form that you would be willing to help with town halls. How about organizing one for the Verde Valley? And I was like, okay, I'd be delighted to do that. And the first thing that I did in consultation with Tara was to organize a steering committee. And I'm so delighted to report that that steering committee not only stands after our community town hall in October, but is expanding and broadening its base to really focus on the development of young leaders, both those 20 to 40 and high school students and community college students. So that was one of the big outcomes that came out of our community town hall, was a commitment and a passion to expand our efforts, to keep it going, and to really focus on young leaders. One of the things that we observed as we talked about our issues was that we had so many things in common. And the Verde Valley has many communities: Sedona, Cottonwood, Camp Verde, Jerome, Rimrock, the village of Oak Creek. And it was so fantastic that everybody came together in a combined format. We had an in-person, which had about, I think 50 plus people. And then we had virtual participants. And Tara told me it was the first time that we had combined both formats, and it worked really well. And we identified some issues that we need to continue to work on. And I am delighted to be part of this conversation today.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Gail, for sharing that. I'll hand it over to Shelley.
Hi, good morning. I'm delighted to be here today and to share about Southwest Arizona Town Hall. And so Southwest Arizona Town Hall, it makes up Yuma County. So we have a lot of municipalities, San Luis, Somerton, Welton, Yuma, that make up Yuma County. And so we have had, over the many years that we have had, I think, over 28 town halls that include students as well in our town halls. And then we also have, I think we've had 6 or 7 just youth town halls that the youth run themselves. And so those are a lot of fun. But when we were looking at this broad topic, and with COVID hitting, and we decided to go to a virtual platform, we thought, we could take the opportunity over these months to have foundational forums. So we looked at the wheel, the elements of a healthy community wheel, and we looked at how could we create 6 foundational forums from each of those elements and kind of combine some of them. And so we had human opportunities, which were education and economic development. Access to healthcare and quality affordable food was another forum. And then we had equitable living, which was our transportation and affordable housing. Then we had community safety, another one on community design. And then we finished in September with our underserved communities. And with that, over the past several years with our town halls, we have identified community partners, because over the years, we have realized that we have such robust conversations and come up with such great ideas and final recommendations, but we needed champions to take these recommendations forward. So for each of our town halls, and we did the same with each of those forums, as we identified a community partner so that we could engage them, and then they receive the final report and are able to champion those recommendations and take those forward. And I agree with Gail, we are similar in Yuma County. We have we're almost like we have a bunch of mini Arizona states within the state of Arizona is within our states. And so we are a smaller version of that. But I think it's such a beautiful example of how we as communities across the state come together and we recognize our challenges and our strengths, and we can identify those. And then when we go to participate in the Arizona Town Hall, we've kind of done our homework and we know what we want to share. And then we can be so productive in sharing those ideas and learning from another across the state. And I think it really helps us to be more cohesive as a state, and then to be able to network and to see, you know what, that's a great idea. Can I give you a phone call and find out how you came up with that resolution? I think that would work in our area. So I think that there's so many amazing aspects that come out as the Arizona Town Hall, but I love having the community town halls prep, for that, and then participate in Arizona Town Hall and then come back and be able to continue that good work. So I'm honored to be here and look forward to hearing from everyone today.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Shelley. I'll hand it over now to Mayor Sheehy.
Hi, good morning. Mayor Cal Sheehy from Lake Havasu City, and I'm honored to be here today and representing the Mojave County Community Town Hall. We did this last year, and we had a nice cross-section of our county participate. So we had governmental, education, citizens at large, and other organizations that aim to make our communities better up in Northwest Arizona. And what was one of the most exciting pieces of this was the town hall came together and we were able to identify all of the vibrant things we already have in our community. And it gave way to hope of what we can achieve when we came to our challenges and outcomes. And Arizona Town Hall has been a really strong partner in our area. They're making really critical decisions, or helping our citizens make really critical decisions about growth and direction over the years. And so to bring that trust back into government and into communities at a time when it was uneasy was very timely. And the process, again, gave that trust to our citizens that the decisions that are being made are in the best interest of Northwest Arizona, Mojave County, and then of course how that fits into Arizona as a whole. So I'm excited to be here with Arizona Town Hall and continue the great work they do across the state of Arizona, and for the work that they've already done in our community in the past.
Thank you, Mayor. That's fantastic. Barbara.
Morning. I'm Barbara Mason. I am the Vice President of Home and Community-Based Services with Sun Health. And it strikes me that Sun Health has sponsored 3 town halls during the past year, and I've thoroughly enjoyed every moment. And it strikes me interesting that we are talking about building vibrant communities. Our wellness platform at Sun Health is called Vibrant Living. And so anything that speaks the same language obviously resonates with me. The thing that I think we've really hit hard on is the fact that we have so much talent, so much creativity throughout the entire state, that if we put those ideas together, no matter where they come from, we're all stronger for it. We create those vibrant communities simply by communicating and sharing our talents. And we all have such great resources as well. And although we still have many unknowns with COVID-19 and whatever is next around the corner, we know that we have it here in the state of Arizona. We just use this platform to help tie each other together and bring those ideas together. And as a result, a couple of things that we've done specifically are we've built a new program at Sun Health, and we're calling it our check-in program. And we are really doing outreach to the communities, to those folks who may be isolated, making sure that folks are okay. We can't lay eyes on them, but we can certainly pick up the phone and make a phone call. And in addition, because we know that our outlying areas, our more rural areas, have less access to care, Sun Health has been awarded a grant for us to, because we are the only Medicare certified diabetes prevention treatment. We are taking our program out, and you will all be hearing from us very soon, because we're going to be mentoring new diabetes coaches in the rural areas of Arizona. That really came about as a result of hearing what the needs were on these town halls. And so I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be involved. You're giving me fantastic ideas and lots of motivation for the future. So thank you.
That's fantastic. That's really what we love to hear, is those connections and then what comes out of it, right? So you actually led into my next question to all the panelists, and you can answer as you'd like in any order you'd like, but what actions, if any, do you know of have been taken in your communities by the participants as a result of the conversations that stemmed in the town halls?
In the Lake Havasu City and Mojave County area, we have regional partnerships that we were able to strengthen. And so through the conversation we had at the community town hall, we were able to identify the strengths of the different organizations that already exist, the services that they already provide, and then how do we ensure that we're communicating so that we can fill in any of the gaps or understand if there are any gaps in services to our community. And then in Lake Havasu City, we put a community resource group where over 100 different organizations gather that represent every economic development, social service, educational, transportation organization together and meet at this point twice a year to have discussions of a big picture discussions of what their organizations are doing and how these other organizations can help augment their programs or market their programs or work in connection or in concert so that our citizens have access to the services that they need across a wide variety of different nets, taking it into account the economic development, the personal health of our citizens, recreation and quality of life, and then the future sustainability of our community.
That's amazing. You know, all those resources already existed in your community, but bringing them together, you're able to help the community even more by just knowledge sharing, right? And resource sharing. That's fantastic.
Building on that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
Building on that theme, in the Verde Valley, which encompasses Yavapai County and a portion of Coconino County, one of the issues that became very, very clear was the lack of affordable housing. We live in a tourist area, and we have a lot of Airbnbs, especially in Sedona, that have caused a significant problem with housing. So something that started prior to the community town hall, but has been strengthened and expanded by the town hall's effort, is the partnership of Sedona and Cottonwood to hire a housing manager to really work on that issue for those two communities and to broaden that base in the Verde Valley and really help to alleviate some of the significant housing problems and the resulting homelessness that has generated out of that issue. And that has also caused the Verde Valley Regional Economic Organization, which is a strong base with Yavapai College, to partner with the community town halls to really expand conversations and problem solving around other issues like broadband in rural areas, as we were talking about earlier, and water. The Verde River is a tremendous resource in our community, and there are a lot of us who are working together now out of our conversations from the community town hall to strengthen to preserve and sustain our water. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the things I'm really excited about is the focus on young people. One of the things that came out in our steering committee, we kind of all looked at each other and we were pretty much in the same generation. We said, we've really got to work on bringing younger people to the table, developing their skills so they're comfortable to be part of this effort. So as a result, Mary Chacoin, who's with the Verde Valley Regional Economic Organization, is working to build a program to train young people 24 to 40 in the community to become facilitators and recorders for community town halls. And likewise, Yavapai College and my organization is working with the school districts to expand future leaders in the high schools, both public and private, in Yavapai County, in the Verde Valley area, and moving up to Flagstaff. So those are several things that resulted out of our efforts.
That is fantastic. I love the focus on young people. That brings energy and a new perspective. And like you said, plant seeds for future leadership. Thank you for doing that.
Alex, if I could jump in on the flip side, we know that volunteerism has taken a huge hit during COVID, and for many reasons, obviously. But in the surprise area, as you might understand, we are surrounded by retirees. And doing more outreach to our retirees has brought in a whole new group of volunteers. We have retired nurses, we have retired physicians, and they really are desperate to help. And so through outreach measures in our area, unlike training the students, we are having our mentors, right, our retirees retrain us. And in fact, in a couple of instances in our area, they're operating volunteer programs on their own.
That is fantastic. I think that's one of the, the hidden secrets and gems of this process is the full spectrum. The whole community becomes involved, and to support ourselves, right? To support our own communities where we live, work, and play. I love it.
Everyone's just keying each other up. We didn't practice this. It's just going so well. I would love to add to that. And I know I've heard Tara say this so many times that anytime I participate in a town hall or work on one locally, I learn no matter what the topic is. It could be water to education, anything. I learned so much at each of these town halls, and I go in, what am I going to share? I don't even know anything about this topic. So that's the beauty of it, that you learn so much, and you do realize that you have things to share, and there is it impacts our community. And that was one of the things when we looked at the element and had our foundational forums, is that they were a series over months, because we knew all of them are they're correlated. Everyone impacts. When we were talking about education, transportation was a huge topic when we were talking about education. And so that was something that I felt like really was a benefit to the forums, is that most of the participants participated in all of the forums and really could see how we are all of those sectors are interconnected. And so from that, we have the report from each of the forums. We have the final report for all of them, which ties all of that together of how we're all of them impact each other. And these are shared with our elected officials. We'll each get those final reports. But one of the actions, we also had the personal actions that everybody had and has been working on. But we are going to offer to each of the communities, San Luis, Somerton, Welton, to present these recommendations to them, that they can hear what all of Yuma County has shared, and maybe glean some of the aspects that are common, and then have these forums or like mini town halls in those different municipalities, and work with their community leaders, to talk about these recommendations and highlight some next steps that can happen and for them in each of those communities. So we're hoping that each takes ownership and has another step of participation and action.
I love it. You really are teeing up the next questions. This is
There we go.
fantastic. And my next question was going to be after reading some of those reports, which are, if you haven't had a chance, thank you, Alex, for putting them in the chat, and Elise for putting them in the chat. You know, as you mentioned, different topics pop up in the town halls. If you're talking about education, transportation may pop up, access to healthcare may pop up. And I know Kim has been sharing some very, very, important topics that we should cover in town hall sessions. Unfortunately, the setting is not the best place for it right now, but we are taking note, Kim, and encourage you to participate in the Arizona Town Hall, where they will come into play no matter what the topic is, right? But as you read your reports, back to the panelists, did you see anything from other communities that maybe triggered an idea in your head about how this might apply in your own community?
Well, I'd like to follow up on what Shelley was sharing, because one of the things we talked about is we read the reports, and the steering committee had a follow-up evaluation conversation. And we said, we need more time to focus on, there's so many aspects of this topic. And the fact that you organized in foundational community town halls first really reinforces the idea that this is a process and it's systemic. It's not an event. And engaging in the process builds those relationships and allows us to see new opportunities and really uncover new problems as we go deeper into our conversations. So one of the things that struck me is the whole idea of building, especially for young people, repeated opportunities to engage in these conversations so that those skills become an innate part of the way in which they approach problem identification, generating potential solutions, and then reaching consensus to develop strategies and actions that address the problem, but also engage people and help them to understand that all of these challenges that we face are going to be solved together. Some of us may take different aspects of it to solve, but we've got to tackle them together. And that's something that came through when I read the reports, that people said, we really have to be a community to address and solve these problems.
I think reading through the report and seeing what the statewide culmination of all of the community town halls together, I think it really highlights that our needs really are very similar. And with the robust growth that we've had in the state of Arizona, that it's not always to rule against metropolitan. It's everyone's facing the same challenges, just at what scope or what level. So when it comes to housing crises, attainable housing, homelessness, access to food, access to healthcare, broadband services. Although in rural we do have more challenges than metropolitan, but all of those still are challenges across the state just because of our strong growth. And together we can work on those solutions. But from a political standpoint, because we have such similarities across the entire state, we should be able to find consensus at the legislature and have legislation that supports addressing these issues, because again, they do impact all four corners of the state and everything in between.
I'll jump in. I think these reports, I love reading the reports and reading the surveys, gold mine of information that we have access to, and to see those, what we have in common across the state. And that's what is going to be so amazing next week. Is I wish, as I was going through, I needed to go, but I want to go back and highlight, okay, this is common here, this is common here, this is common here, but that's what's going to happen next week. I think that's what's going to come out is to see those things that we can work on and learn from one another. And it really makes, sometimes I think we can just feel, I don't know, isolated in our own areas. But when you read these reports, it's just really refreshing. Even the challenges are refreshing to go, okay, it's not just us, but other people face these things, or look at the ideas that they came up for their community. And so I think that's what's going to be so exciting about next week is bringing all those ideas together and creating, focus on those highlights of the things that together as a state, if we can be more deliberate and how we can work together, I think those would be amazing outcomes.
Thank you for mentioning that too. Yeah, so if anybody's interested, I think registration is still open for the town hall next week. Alex or Elise, if you don't mind plugging that link into the chat, I think that would be great if that's still open. That's a great opportunity if you haven't participated in the past to, thank you, to sign up and participate there. So back to the panelists, what, if any, challenges did you see in coordinating town halls in your community? Was there any pushback?
You know, for us, I think that there was no hesitation that people wanted to be involved. Unfortunately, at this time, many of us, I was stating this a little earlier, many of us are doing more than one job, right? And, you know, and maybe some of us have our kids at home now that we didn't before. You know, we're stretched. We are stretched to the limits in many cases. I think that is a challenge, but I think that that it doesn't lessen the fact that people want to be involved. And so when putting town halls together, I think that taking that into consideration, how can we support people to allow them to participate in the town halls? And frankly, in the programming changes that are made or added in our communities, we need to think about how we can support them better.
One of the challenges that I would say is the magic of Arizona Town Hall. You have to see it to believe it. And it's really hard to get people to be excited about it until they've actually seen the experience. And when the report is reported back out, this just amazing energy enters the room, or in this case, you know, the screen. But you have to see it. And so to try and explain that and get people to give of an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on the length of the town hall, that's always been a challenge. And in our community, we have an older population as well as a younger population, and to get those to merge together on a computer screen is very difficult. We do better in person, and certainly the times just didn't allow for that. But the more opportunities we can get to show the magic of what happens through the town hall process, the better our state will be because of it.
I think one of the challenges we experienced was the combined in-person and the Zoom format. And we learned it can be done. And with practice, especially helping the people who are in a virtual environment really be part of the room, that we can do these community town halls. And I'm hoping that we can even do some of them into the schools, you know, that they can organize students and we can be in person someplace else and have the combined conversations between the community town hall that has older people and the young people that are really the future of our community town halls and the future of our communities. So I think really getting more skillful in combining the two formats, because I think COVID is going to be with us, or something that's going to present challenges for a long time. And we don't have to let that deter us from having meaningful conversations with each other.
I think one of the challenges, I guess it's a good challenge, is so our foundational forums were 2 hours long, and we had a panel of speakers, and then we went into our breakout sessions, and then at the end we came back and everybody was to bring their action item or do something that, or share something that they learned, and we had a gift card frenzy at the end to keep everybody engaged and to come back for the end. But it was at the beginning, at the first forums, it was the time. You think 2 hours is a long time, but we really had to try to be able to get to each of the questions that we had. So that was something that we learned of how we can only have, it's best to maybe have 2 to 3 panel speakers instead of 6 panel speakers, but they were just so good. I mean, we learned so much that you're thinking, okay, can we go longer? But people we didn't know how long. It's a learning curve of how long people can stay engaged virtually. But I really love the community. I feel like by having the community town halls, I love the state town hall where we come together, but at times it could be challenging, with travel and everything to to get there. And by having the community town halls and being able to have people join in virtually across the state, I feel like you're really hearing the voice of the state. And so where that I think has been a challenge, I feel like this is going, through, I mean, before COVID, the community town halls, were happening, but I think that's just a great, I think it's a great idea to have everybody have their community town halls, but then also, if they can, I love that, that you guys were able to do that hybrid version. So I don't know how that will look, in the future, but to really be able to, if people can't travel, they can still participate and have a voice and feel a part of the rest of the state. Sometimes we can feel, I think through COVID, we've realized how isolated, we can feel, but I mean, in person is the best, you have that synergy that happens when you're in person, but hopefully there's something that we can, work on to be able to keep everyone engaged if they can't travel, or it's an expense for people. So I think that was a challenge, but a benefit that's come out of our COVID experience, our virtual experiences.
Thank you for sharing. I think it's important for people who may be on the, on the fence about whether they want to host one in their community or not, to hear what the challenges are. So I love that you were able to share that, and how you overcame some of them as well is equally as important. Tara, is there anything you'd like to ask our panelists today?
Sure. First, a few comments. One is that I absolutely love hearing this discussion. And Shelley, you brought up how while the pandemic certainly created challenges for us getting together and having that special sauce and magic that comes with an in-person gathering, there were benefits of being able to reach out to people virtually who never would have been able to attend. So I like to say that in this last 2 years, never waste a good pandemic, right? What lessons can we take from it and move into the future? And I see having virtual as an option as a way to continue to reach directly into communities and those who would not otherwise be able to bring their voices to us. And on that note, Barbara, you had mentioned the importance of being able to have these programs. And Sun Health was one example of a sponsor, as well as APS, who we recognized earlier, who allowed us to take these programs in ways and into communities that we could not have done without them. So the sponsors make a big difference. And Gail, your company as well in Verde Valley. One thing with the Sun Health programs, those were originally planned to be geographically in the West Valley of Maricopa County. But when we went virtual, we were able to expand them, and we had people from around the state attending those programs. And it was as if we started the statewide discussion much earlier, allowing Arizona to connect in conversation and share ideas leading up to all of this. So that was absolutely wonderful. One of the biggest inspirations I get from the town hall gatherings now is that very last question we usually ask everyone, which is, what one action will you take? With that idea that we can all be a part of the change. And in fact, that is the only way that change is going to happen, if we all find that action we can take. Incredibly inspiring. Having said that, our legislature, how do we get them to, this is the question for all of you, how do we get our legislature to act on the recommendations that, as Shelley has referenced, tend to be the same throughout the state? What are the obstacles standing in the way to make that happen, and how do we get them to respond? Any thoughts on that?
It's a great question, Tara. That's in the current political landscape, that makes it very difficult. And then it obviously exacerbated this year with an election year. But I think some of the principles of Arizona Town Hall and what we did at the community level and what we're doing at the state level through Town Hall, that we can bring the legislature together. And as I mentioned earlier, our challenges, as identified in the report through this process, are of statewide concern. And so these are the items that their constituents and the citizens of Arizona are looking to have addressed, and those that need legislative action. It would seem that it would be a win for the legislature and a win for the citizens. So I think it's just continuing to take advantage of the opportunities when you're speaking with your legislators and members of the legislature to address these concerns, not only from a perspective of your community, although that's very, very important, but also at the greater good for the state of Arizona.
Following the mayor is a little daunting, but I will say that the best thing we can do is to be involved and stay involved, whether that's simple things like voting, right? But joining our community organizations, our civic organizations, fulfilling our civic duty, if you will. I think that all of those things we have to be present in order to be heard.
I know that for our community, we do share, we invite all of our legislators to our town halls and to our forums, and they do participate when they are able to. But I think, circling around and then maybe, having a mini session, work session with them in our community and share, maybe they were in one form or say these were the outcomes and we'd love to share these with you. So you can, and maybe opening as we did those in our areas, we could say other people in other communities are doing the same things, and these are the things that we have in common and that we have learned that others have across the state. So you have fellow legislators that have constituents and citizens that are experiencing some of the same things, and maybe we can highlight the things that we have in common that are really achievable in our state.
I agree that sustained involvement and participation is really critical. And one of the things I do in addition to the town halls is work with the League of Women Voters of Northern Arizona. And I took an action out of the community town hall. I didn't write it on my card, Tara, because I thought about it later after I read through the reports. And one action I've taken now is I write each of my legislators once a week with a positive comment and then a concern that I'd like that person to think about. And I'm using the information from the community town hall in Verde Valley to be the content of my weekly email. So I'm trying to get that information to them a little bit at a time, kind of like a foundational conversation, as opposed to a big dump and just making an event. So it's become a process for me. And I'm also sending the information to Congressman O'Halloran and our two senators to say, this is really an important effort in Arizona and you need to know about it.
That's great. I love that.
That is a fantastic aspiration you've set for yourself. I think if we each did that, can you imagine the change that would come of it? Just the emails alone, getting the inboxes, I think would have an impact.
I'm sure they would say, whoa, there's a lot of people involved in this in the state of Arizona.
Well, and I remember some years ago seeing a teaser for a news show, and they were going to have an expert on who was going to answer the question of what is the number one way that social and political change occurs. And I couldn't wait to hear what the answer was. Guess what it was? Conversation. And, all advertisers know that you have to present something multiple times in order for that to stick. And I think it seems to be the same way with some of these concerns and ideas and recommendations that come up through the community town halls and the statewide town halls that are surprisingly consistent, whether I am personally in the most rural area of Arizona or in an urban area. There is so much more that connects us, I find, from listening to these programs than divides us. And that's, I think, especially given this last 2 years, it's so important for us to remember to look for those areas that bridge and connect us and to work from those strengths and areas. And you all have provided some incredible inspiration today.
One added benefit that I found from all the information that I read from the community town halls, because I do voter registration, it's made me a better person to have a conversation with a potential voter who says, well, I don't want to vote because blah, blah, blah. And I say, wait, our community got together and we were talking about these issues. And this is the very reason why you should vote, because your voice matters. That's what a community town hall taught me. And they go, oh, okay, well, I'll give it some consideration. I'll say, now on that issue of homelessness, here's kind of the things we're working on. And you need to be able to vote so you can get the right people in the right positions. And that seems to help the person who I'm talking with, because they say, oh, there is a value. This person has seen a value in voting and there's a connection. So maybe I should give it serious consideration. And I find that I don't have to have that strong a conversation with a young person who's turning 18. They're like, give me the form. I want to have my voice heard.
You know, on the community town hall reports, because this is a fairly new, we're almost 60 years old, and this has just been within the last 5 years we've done community town halls. What I find interesting from the reports that come from the communities is they seem to be of more interest to your local leaders and legislators sometimes than even the entire statewide report, because they know it represents your community. So if your community has had a community town hall on a topic, that's a report that you can take directly to your elected leaders and say, this is your people, the people you represent, and what they would like to see happen. And on the topic of reports, one more thing I'll highlight: the reports for a town hall, the background reports, are prepared by incredible experts and our universities and our on-the-ground experts. What a resource they are. Over the years, I have had people tell me, whether they are from Arizona or from other parts of the world, that the best way to learn about a topic in Arizona is to pick up that full final report on the topic that an Arizona town hall has done. Because not only will you get that background information, but you'll get all the perspectives of so many people from around the state, and that can give you the best insight on the issue. Or, as we like to say to the leadership groups, it is your shovel-ready answer on how to solve that problem. If we've addressed it in the last 10 years, it's usually still incredibly relevant and insightful. So if you haven't had a chance to look at those reports, and there's any area you're interested in, you can find those on our website. I know we're getting close to the end. Shelley, yes.
Yes, I also just wanted to thank you, Tara, and your team. You just made it seamless. When we were talking about challenges, if we weren't teaming with you, I would be sharing a whole long list of everything that went wrong virtually. But it was wonderful to team with you, and it was like magic. Everybody went into their breakout sessions and it worked so well. So thank you for your support, and I look forward to all the future. If we're virtual, hybrid, and we're gonna work on that as well. But I also want to add to Gail, loving that your just passion for the youth and getting the students involved. And I must say that was a takeaway, I believe, from every single forum that we had, is what the adults learned. The older youth learned from the students is just, you just feel like, we're in really good hands. They're so smart, and they have, they are really living out a lot of these challenges in their lives, and shared so much that we needed to hear. And so I hope that continues to grow for us as well, to make sure we engage those students, but love how passionate, Gail, you are about that. So yay.
I have grandchildren who keep me regularly.
There you go.
I am always impressed and inspired by what comes out of our future leader town hall participants. Now it doesn't surprise me anymore that they often can think bigger and grander than some of the experts in the area. And that's important. That's why their voices matter. So a couple of things as we start to wind up here. First, I want to thank Alex so much for not only stepping in to chair our community town halls into those big shoes of Elizabeth McNamee, speaking of broadband internet issues, who unfortunately couldn't be with us at the last minute here. Thanks so much for that, Alex. We look forward to continue working with you. And then Barbara, Shelley, Cal, Gail, for your leadership in your respective areas. It's such an honor for all of us at the Arizona Town Hall to be able to support communities and to ensure that your community discussions go off as much as possible without a hitch, and to be a part of learning and listening and connecting everyone together. If you have not already signed up for our statewide town hall and you're watching this program before it happens, feel free to do that. If you're watching this program after our statewide town hall on this topic, and you are interested in hosting a community town hall in your community, just contact us. As Gail Digoti learned, when you contact us and you say you're ready to make it happen, we love nothing better than to partner and collaborate with you and to make that happen. A few other things coming up. This particular webinar will be recorded so that people can continue to watch it and use it as a resource about community town halls into the future. Our topic, once we're done with the statewide town hall, our topic for 2022 is mental health, substance use, and homelessness. Topics that we've seen come up not only in our discussions here today, the chat room, and elsewhere. We're going to be doing a launch of our background report in the Maricopa County area on April 14th at the downtown ASU campus. We are also looking into having similar events around the state and would love to be a part of anyone who wants to help spread the information and to create additional community conversations around this important topic. Last but not least, I want to again not only thank our facilitator and our speakers, but our sponsors, whether it's Sun Health, APS, and others, Gail's business as well, and all those in Yuma who helped, and Lake Havasu City, for helping us to be a part of bringing not only your communities together to solve problems, but also connecting the communities across the state so that we can all be more vibrant together as a state and a larger community. So thanks again to all of you. We hope to see you soon. Take care, stay healthy.
Thank you, everyone.